I want to demo something that's very initial. It's work in progress, and I just started it like 3 days back. So I have somewhere around 6,000 to 8,000 banking bookkeeping transactions that I have to make, and I'm planning to achieve this with API access to Zoho Books and browser automation where API access is not possible. So I want to start demoing that. So, and, uh, so before I move on to the browser automation stuff that I have built until now, I'll quickly demo the orchestration system I have been building, which I'm using here. I'll quickly give you a quick peek into that. So this basically has one orchestrator and multiple workers that it manages, which is the common pattern, right? And I have built a agent-to-agent messaging system around it. Currently only works in Claude Code. Planning to extend it to other coding agents as well, so that all the agents can communicate with each other. Uh, and it has multiple other features. Over here, I had to run a single session, but I chose to use the orchestration because I want to leave it running while I'm not at the desk so that all the accounting can just happen. So the orchestrator would then manage it, and it has multiple features. It is usage limit aware, so it can pause and resume work. So when it gets to 85%, it pauses all, it sends a signal to all the workers to pause work, and all the sessions come to a halt. And once the usage limit resumes, once the new window comes in, the orchestrator then messages all the workers and they all start working. I know it's a little inefficient for the cache, but yeah. So, okay, let's come to the what where. So this is a worker that I had been that has basically done a large refactor of the instruction prose that was there in the skill. It has also done refactors of the deterministic parts. It has changed some scripts and fixed some issues there as well. So it has. So after it made this commit, its job basically was done, but I chose to keep it running. It comes back to the orchestrator, and I told the orchestrator that this worker was used by me for refactoring our skill, and I kept it online, and I asked for a new worker so that I can test the changes, run them, and if there are any problems, I can fix them. So the other worker, the refactor worker, already has context ready for it. So I kept it running. So the orchestrator wrote up a prompt and started the new worker, which we can see on the right. And I asked it to focus the new worker for me. So my orchestration system has this focus mechanism where this window becomes my central view, and the orchestrator manages the whole dialog queue, which is very useful when larger swarms are running, like 10, 12 agents are running, and uh, there are multiple agents that need input from me. The orchestrator manages that dialog queue and determines one by one, prioritizes the workers, and brings forth, focuses one worker in front of me to have a conversation with me on the right side. So the orchestrator manages that whole queue. So it spawned this worker, and then here we see the orchestrator got a notification that the worker is now online. Okay. The worker, after coming online, it sent a message to the orchestrator confirming that it is starting work. So the system already has permission awareness. Here, this was a HITL worker, so the orchestrator has been continuously messaging standing by. Otherwise, the orchestrator has the ability to uh, check out what what the worker is asking permission for and approve, reject, and reply. Uh, when it rejects, it can reply by giving a reason and asking it to uh, mend its course. So the orchestrator is aware of doing that. Okay, so I'll shift to the worker. So this is the, let's zoom it. Yeah, yeah, Claude Code's bug with the UI. Control O fixes it. Yeah, that's it. So here in this session, I started running the tests. I categorized around 9 transactions and identified some issues and decided to fix them right here in the session because they were not extremely complicated issues. Uh, so I got them fixed. The first change I made was too trivial, so I didn't do anything. Yeah, so there are these changes I made, and the instructions I had given clearly stated that after making these changes, this worker is supposed to get, after committing, it is supposed to get the work reviewed by the refactor worker because it has much more context about what has been done with the large refactor. So, okay, so it notified the orchestrator. It made a mistake. It should have notified the worker directly. There was a wrong instruction given by the orchestrator. So waiting for orchestrator to comment. Orchestrator. So after that, the final review came in. There were 3 concerns. There were 3 problems that were identified, and it received a message with those 3 concerns. It received a message, and I confirmed that it should fix these issues. I corrected some points in the second point. So this communication happened, and the older worker could review it. The refactor worker could review this work and come back and send a message, and this worker could fix those issues. So live communication happening between the agents. So all all the issues were fixed and committed. Now we can zoom out of this pane and let's see. I'll show you one more feature here. Say I'll ask the orchestrator, can you defocus the I will continue controlling it in its own pane. So just to demo the defocusing that it's going to do. Yeah, the pane's gone. It's moved it to a separate window called QA. There. Now it has come to its own window. Okay. So if we see the recap here, categorizing all NDFI transactions in Codex 1237 using Haiku subagents, 8 UPI withdrawals done, workflow modules updated and committed. Next, resume 125 NEFT deposits. Okay, so great. We are ready to start categorizing these transactions. So couple of more things I can add here, like there is there are there is a rule engine like that learns rules from these banking categorizations that I teach it, and it stores those rules. So now it knows what categorization it has to do because this is a rule that I've already taught it. I could have used uh, like some of you might know about Zoho Books and you might say that uh, they have this feature called manage transaction rules. So yeah, they have this feature, but it is deficient. So they do have these transaction rules, but those are quite deficient. They don't support regexes, while our rule engine supports, my rule engine supports regexes. Moreover, there is a feature to match transactions here, and this their transaction rule system has no option for matching transactions. Matching has to be done manually. So matching is another part that I've already implemented. Matching happens here successfully. There are rules saved for matching as well. Okay, so let's run this. Can you process 3 transactions for me? Can you process 3 transactions? So here, what I've done is I've built an IIFE which has a set of, okay, the browser is gone. This was actually 1 day old, so I was expecting this to happen. So it will now open the page again on it. Okay, it's running it without haiku now. It'll open the page again and it'll now have to apply a filter. Good, the browser went away, so now the demo for the filter automation is automatically included. So it's now again filtered it. Yeah, so you can see that it's calling these functions called Zoho automation.banking.transactions.list uncategorized. So there is an IIFE injection that I do use through agent browsers, through agent browser, and the whole automate that what that does is that makes the whole automation suite independent of what browser automation tool I'm using, because there is this whole chunk of JavaScript that I just inject and that makes all these functions available. So what the other thing is it's a very lean API surface, so the output token consumption here is very low. All the end-to-end automation for here, like it's calling categorize manually. So it is just calling categorize manually and everything is happening. So the API interface is very lean for the agent to use. And it's like I said, it's designed for optimized output token consumption. So actually what happened was I first built this in Claude and Chrome, and Claude in Chrome was very flaky and unreliable. And thankfully, because I had written an IIFE to reduce the agent's inference surface, and that was perhaps the best way to do it, because otherwise the agent would decide uh, what Claude in Chrome functions to call. Okay, this is one problem I have not been able to solve with my orchestration system right now, because there is no hook for this event. There is no hook. Hmm. So automation, find uncategorized, open transaction row. Yeah. Yeah. So I was telling you about the Claude in Chrome experience. It was unreliable. It kept disconnecting again and again. So because I had written IIFE, the whole IIFE injection thing, so that the agent doesn't have to keep calling the MCP tools and figure out the whole automation, which I could have only defined in prose, right? If it had to call like uh, five MCP tools in sequence, I would have to define that in prose, because there is no way to automate that there unless I uh, fork the MCP tool and modify that. Of course, nothing is impossible. So okay, sorry, Claude in Chrome is not open source. I cannot fork it and change it anyway. I could have gone to Playwright or done something else. So in Claude in Chrome, I thought I would write the IFE bundle and just inject it, and that worked quite well with Claude in Chrome. But the disconnection issue was troubling me a lot. So I thought that I'll move to Agent Browser, uh, and I did that. So yeah, it's categorized three NEFT deposits here. There, run five shell commands here. So find uncategorized. Okay, went to yeah. Find uncategorized row. It got the row. It opened the transaction row and then called categorize manually, because the rule engine resolves to categorize manually. There are three options there. Categorize manually. There is the option to match as well. So what happens here is, in case you are not familiar with Zoho Book, what happens here is if you click a row, first the match transactions tab opens up, and if there are matching transactions on the top, those show up, and you have to then go to categorize manually and uh, make those entries. Select whatever you have to select and submit. So great. I tried to do a demo of this. Uh, I'm planning to build other parts where I would have some bulk work to do. I would try to automate it with this browser automation. Apart from that, I have a lot of bills to import, lot of inventory entries to make. Inventory entries I have to make around, oh, it's not 6 to 8 thousand anymore. The inventory entries I have to make must be close to 25 to 30,000 for all the e-commerce stuff. So that would be quite large. So, but thankfully for that, the API is going to be useful, and I'm going to use the API to do that. Thank you for watching.